Hey friends, and welcome to the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, and I'm so glad you're here. Each week on this show, I invite a girlfriend to join me and we chat about the big things in life, the little things in life, and everything in between. Happy 2020, my friends. It's a new decade. I thought it'd be fun to talk to a few friends about what life was like for them 10 years ago, how life has changed, what the year 2010 brought them, what the last decade has brought them, and what they hope for over the next 10 years. You guys are loving this show, and we are loving making this show so much for you guys. If you're listening right now on the Friday, I'm heading to Therefore Gathering, which is a gathering for teen girls, and I'm so excited. I love seeing amazing teens growing in their faith, running hard after Jesus. It gives my mama heart so much hope for all of our boys' future wives and for my own soon-to-be teen daughter's life. Love what they're doing there. On today's Your Last Decade, I wanted to share a conversation with you all that I had with my best friend, Amy, who we've been friends since 9th grade, you guys. You guys know and love Amy. She was actually, fun fact, the very first guest that I ever had on the Happy Hour. Basically, I said, hey, best friend, I'm starting a podcast. Will you talk with me for an hour? And she said yes. She's been on a handful of times since then. You're going to love her so much. Over the last decade, Amy and her husband, John, have been raising their kids. 3 of them, they have 3 kids. Their oldest, Mabry, has special needs. For much of Mabry's life, there really was not a diagnosis for all of the needs that she had until these recent years. And in the show today, Amy shares with me about how that has impacted their lives and her heart personally. Here is my conversation with my BFF in the whole wide world, Amy Gayhart, which stick around to the end because I want to tell you about a project that you're going to be interested in. Here's my conversation with Amy Gayhart. This is my best friend for over 25 years. Amy Gayhart.
Long time.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
If you are a longtime listener, you know that Amy was my first guest I ever had.
Oh, it was rough.
It was rough. And my 15th guest, I guess I was like, hey, can you come back, please?
Yeah.
I saw, and someone left a comment on my blog recently that said they had started at the beginning. And I hear that often.
Really?
And I literally am like, I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Right?
Oh, man.
I remember you got mad at me because I kept moving around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was
because it was through the computer.
Yes. But I didn't even have a microphone. It was the craziest thing ever. But you were my very first guest.
You did it.
We did it. And here we are.
Yeah.
Back again. So right now we're in California, Orange County. I'm speaking at Catalyst today in just a couple hours. And you joined me on the trip.
I did.
Which is so fun.
Yes.
Why don't you tell them why this trip is so exciting for you to come to California with me?
Well, let me tell you, because in high school, Jamie has family out in California, and they were taking a family trip in the summer, and she got to bring someone with her, and she chose her boyfriend instead of me.
And where's he? Who knows?
Who knows?
Where are you?
Right
Still
here.
in my life.
Right here. Finally made it to California. Needless to say, I didn't ever let it go, but I'm going to let it go now.
Because now I brought you.
Yes. Thank you.
2 things about that story. My mom's probably listening to this, so I won't talk
Hi, Karen.
bad. I don't know why they let me bring a boyfriend and not you.
They should have put. Okay, maybe I'm mad at Karen and Randy.
You take it up with Karen and Randy. Not me.
I'll call y'all later.
I probably was like, Mom, please.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'll die.
Yeah. But I have friends right now who have kids that are older and they have taken boyfriends and girlfriends on trip. I mean, it's not the strangest thing in the world.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I guess we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. And so right now it's a no.
Right now it's not only a no.
We have your oldest is a freshman and mine's, how old is Mabes?
16.
Yeah. So she's a sophomore.
Yes, she's a sophomore.
So we're not there yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Gracious.
And we'll say, oh, we said never.
And here we are. Mm-hmm. This is an advice for parents. Do you remember before you had kids, you would look at other people and be like, oh, we will never do that. Don't say never till you're in those shoes.
I absolutely remember one time I was riding with my sister-in-law and my nephew, who was probably 2 at the time. And she straight up handed him an ice cream cone in the car.
Mm-hmm. And you thought?
I was like, oh my God. Like, no, that can't happen. And if you could see my car today, you would laugh because it's like a rolling trash can.
Like that with everything in life, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know till you're there.
Yeah. Like, I was like, are you serious? This is happening right now.
It's hilarious. Mm-hmm. I look back to I mean, when Aaron and I got married, he was a student pastor, which most student pastors are young, which is great because they're close to the age of the kids. Sure. They're cool and hip.
Relatable.
But they've never parented students before.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
we're like 5 years out of being students ourselves.
It's because parents are too tired to do the summer camps.
And we're so happy for those young people.
Yes.
Now, when our kids are in student ministry and they have student leaders, sometimes they do things, nothing bad, but sometimes they just do things and I'm like, y'all, we could do this better. But I would have never known that. You me tell you one of them?
Yes.
This is anyone that goes to my church or that's part of student ministry, I'm not ragging, but here's something that only a mom would think, that the leaders would never think of. Our student thing that meets at our house is from 7 to 8:30. As a mom, I'm like, y'all need to be done at 8:30.
Oh, yeah.
The parents are waiting. They got to get home. But the student leaders are so awesome. They're hanging out with them. They're praying. And whenever I think that in my head, I've never said it out loud to just now, but whenever I think it in my head, I always go, Jamie, you're such an old person right now.
For crying out loud, stop praying and let's get to bed.
Stop hanging out with my kids.
Yes.
Stop loving on my kids.
We have a paper due tomorrow.
Okay, so enough about being old people. Okay, so
we are old people too, because at dinner last night, we were talking about how do these girls wear these shirts and you don't even know if they have pants on or not.
I told you it's one of my pet peeves. I could write a book about pet peeves, but I don't like saying them that often because it makes me sound like a grouchy old woman. But we did say last night we have the same pet peeve, and we both cannot handle it when girls have on long T-shirts and you can't tell if they have shorts on.
Right.
Just pull your shirt up, baby girl.
Or
wear some longer shorts.
Thank you. Or
we're such moms right now.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to chat for a few minutes before we go to the venue, but I want to talk to you. This is just me. This conversation is just me and friends talking about real life. Kind of like the happy hour, but these are
a little shorter.
Okay, a little background on you. I'll do a little intro and you can fill in the blanks. But you and your husband have been married for 18 years.
Yes, it'll be 19
Almost
in
19,
July.
Yes, because it's a year ahead of Aaron and I. You just said your oldest is 16,
yes.
Mabry, with special needs. You have Jack, who is in 8th grade, a year older than my
He'll
two
be
boys.
14 tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Jack. And then your youngest Slater is
He's in 3rd grade. He's 9.
Okay. So that's kind of your motherhood. But when you and John had Mabry, your oldest, you went into motherhood, parenthood, just like everybody else does.
Sure.
Full of expectations, full of dreams. I mean, golly, you get pregnant and you're already thinking about she's going to play soccer and then she's going to go to prom.
No, she would not have played soccer.
Okay, but she's going to play basketball, and then all the things you could go all the way through your whole life. And I'm going to walk her down the aisle and then we're going to get married. And then your dreams did not become a reality. How early on did that set in for you?
So when she was born, there was nothing wrong. Perfect, beautiful child, first grandchild, first girl on one side, just the princess of the family. She still is, but, she developed normally. And it wasn't until she just didn't start talking that we were kind of like, maybe we need to get this checked out.
What's funny is I remember we were both parenting. Mabry's 1 year older than my oldest.
Right.
So we were going through things in parenting a little bit later.
Yes.
But I don't know if you remember this. Caden didn't talk for a long time. Yeah. And so we almost had this in common of just like, we're just, it is just happens.
Right.
I mean, Caden was in speech therapy. He didn't really even talk till he was 2.5. And, so it seemed kind of like, this can be typical.
Right. And we thought that. And everybody said, she'll talk when she's ready. Don't worry, blah, blah, blah. Well, we brought in speech help, which that can't hurt.
We did too. Yeah.
So, no big deal. And the speech therapist was like, does she always roll her eyes like that? And we're like, oh, huh. Well, like when she really likes something she's eating, or if she's trying to be dramatic, or if she's tired. And it's not like she's 6 months old at this time. She's probably 18 months old. And she goes, I would really have that looked at. I would have that checked out. And so I am an advocate for early intervention. So we did. We had it checked out. And by this time, we had Jack. He was 3 months old when we had Mabry's first EEG done, which checks for seizures, basically. And at that time, she was having 30 an hour, and we didn't know. And it wasn't like they were grand mal. They were absent seizures, which is just like what the speech therapist saw. It was just a simple eye roll. And I I know most new moms stare at their babies 24 hours a day and stare them in the eyes, and we didn't, So looking back, we're like, how could we be so stupid to miss that? But in reality, it wouldn't have changed a whole lot if we would have known. So
And she wasn't falling on the ground having seizures that you would have been like, oh, this is a problem.
no, like I'm saying, it was just like
a slight
maybe 3 to 5 seconds. But when you're having 30 of those an hour, you miss a lot.
Yeah.
And so at that time, progress, we were just told she had a developmental delay. And so we just started with the seizure disorder. So medication started to control them. And we just kind of moved on with life. I mean, yes, special ed, yes, behavior problems, sensory issues, but engaging, funny, loved to be with people. She loves to be with people. She loves to not talk to them, but gesture and sign. And she does have some words at 16, more for us than for the general public. General public wouldn't know they wouldn't know what she's saying, but we do.
Yeah.
So that was it. And yes, we did the speech therapy. We did occupational therapy. We did, all of that. And at one point we were just like, we need to just let her be a kid. Like, she just needs to be Mabry. And so she did it all through the school, but we didn't do any outside therapies.
Yeah.
So
I do know that was, that was a journey. And of course, hearing that at the beginning is super, super difficult, but you have lived under the assumption for all of these years, seizure disorder, developmental
and at the
delay.
time, we joked that it was just a Mabry syndrome.
Yeah.
Because nobody could really put their finger
They're
on
not
it.
giving you a diagnosis.
Right. We didn't have a diagnosis.
Which I know from having another mutual friend of ours who has a child with special needs, that when they finally got a diagnosis, it was such a healing thing for them because they could finally go, okay, here's what we're dealing with. And I don't know that you necessarily were looking for that all of these years, but within the past year, you finally got a diagnosis.
Right. We walked into a new neurologist, our neurologist that we'd been with since the initial EEG, retired. And so we went in, John and I took Mabry to the new neurologist that took over for him. And he said, so when did y'all get the diagnosis of autism? And John and I were just like, what? Like, we haven't. And he was very kind and he was very compassionate at the time. And he said, well, I need you to know that that's what we're dealing with right now. And floored, like absolutely floored. And that was a really hard day for John and I. And we couldn't put our finger on why. We still can't. Because, all signs pointed to autism, but nobody ever said that to us. And I know in my heart of hearts that not having a diagnosis for all those years was God's provision for me. Because, 14 years ago, if I would have heard autism, it would have broken me. I would have been shattered. All of those years of not having a diagnosis continued to give us hope of things will get better. There's a chance they can get better. The stigma of autism kind of means, oh, there's your life. There's your life. That's what it's going to be.
So do you think that's why it kind of floored you guys? Is you had been living with this kind of flicker of there could be hope?
No, because I think both of us the past 2 or 3 years have kind of realize
this is life.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. We've started thinking long term. We've started preparing for that. So it wasn't that. It was just the word. And we're totally fine with it, but that initial, appointment, that those words coming out were just really hard for us to hear.
I think that's a super common response from everyone I've spoken to on the show who is dealing with a child with a diagnosis with special needs, is that it's not that they thought, oh, my life is over, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me, but it is just that initial moment of going, okay, things are different for our family than what it looks like for everybody else.
I think what was the hardest is that I thought that I had already grieved the dreams for Mabry. I thought that was done and I was healed, and no, so much was brought back up in me, and realizing that every milestone you might I might have to grieve. I was telling you last night how Mabry's 16th birthday was really hard for me this year. Because she wasn't driving away in a cute little pink Jeep like I thought she might, Yeah. And that's just one of the many milestones that we're about to hit. Mm-hmm. Like we're right in the throes of
everything that happens
people
in high school.
Going to prom, getting a boyfriend, getting your license, graduating, going to college, all of those things aren't going to happen.
Yeah. It's interesting for me to hear, and for listeners who have friends that have kids with special needs, is to think you would assume that all those things are grieved the minute you found out.
Sure.
Like you'd be like, oh, this is no new information. Mm-hmm. You've always known that Mabry wasn't going to be driving a pink Jeep at 16.
Right. But
yet you can still say, I'm still grieving over that.
Well, and seeing, Facebook and Instagram posts of the girls her age or the boys her age that we kind of grew up with, all of them are getting cars and driving off and doing that. Yeah. And good news is, at the end of the day, we have Mabry. Yeah. And we're okay with that. Yeah. We're overjoyed with that.
Well, that's what I want to ask you, because I've been thinking a lot through something I want to write about in the next book. And one of it is about life doesn't always work out the way we thought it was going to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we can all say that and be like, of course not. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of that, when life doesn't work out the way that you thought it was, what do you do with that? Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's what is so important, and especially as followers of Jesus, which your family is, my family. What do you do when life doesn't look like you thought it was going to be?
And especially because the special needs realm is what I know, you'll find a lot of special needs families and it's maybe because maybe they don't walk with Jesus, maybe they don't know, but a lot of them have chips on their shoulders of, we were dealt this, so, you owe me this. Basically, like, we have it hard, you owe me. And I kind of look at it as, we were dealt these cards, now let's play the heck out of this hand. Don't put them down, try to discard or whatever. Like, let's just play the heck out of it, and show others, look, this is what we do.
So can I ask you this hard question?
Sure.
Do you think God made a mistake when he made Mabry?
No. And it's funny, John and I had this conversation I don't remember. Oh, John was preaching at his mom's church, and he mentioned, he always wondered if he had the big red easy button, if he could push the easy button, would he? And he said he wouldn't. And I'm sitting here going,
give me that button.
There are some days that I'm searching the house for the button. But she was born to touch people. Like, deeply move and touch people. We know this. Now, there's days where I'm like, really? Could you not have picked someone else for this? But that's exactly what she's here to do. Yeah. She's here, as John says, she is the closest thing to a purest form of unconditional love you'll find on this side of heaven. Period. Because we can have the worst day, and 5 minutes later, she's your best friend again. It's like, we joke like it's like Groundhog Day on our house all the time, because we talk about the same things over and over and over again. And it's kind of like, it's so much like our relationship with Jesus, because we can mess up and we can have bad days. And it's like 5 minutes later, he forgot all about it.
How has parenting Mabry changed you?
Jeez. I don't know if John would agree with this, but I have gotten so much more patient. And there's days I'm not.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's days I'm not. But I think patience, I think love for everybody. I had a lot of judgment. I had a lot of stereotypes in my mind that I don't know if I was raised with those, or if, that's just what the world said and I believed them. But I don't see that anymore. I don't judge families. I don't judge, what I mean, what I'm saying. Even I'm not just saying special needs. I'm saying social economics, different everybody. I always know there's a family there that's trying their very hardest,
Okay, so one thing that I think is really cool about when people, like you said, have been dealt different cards that look harder and you're like, I'm going to play the heck out of them. You mentioned that you and John are having to think long term.
Yes.
Because the fact of the matter is Mabry will never live on her own.
Right.
And so you guys are thinking long term, and you have, for the past couple of years, been running an organization that is a therapeutic
riding
facility.
Yes.
Okay. But you're also thinking long term for a place that would actually be a housing facility.
Sure. Not necessarily housing right now.
Daycare. Daycare. That's bad.
So the word is dayhab.
Habitat?
Like habitation.
Habitation.
I hate the word. We just call it our purpose program.
Okay.
But it's a place for special needs adults to go during the day.
So tell us about what you do.
Okay. So I am the executive director of Blue Sky Therapeutic Riding and Respite. And yes, we are a therapeutic riding community. And no, I'm not a horse person. I just have really smart people that work with me. But the way I got into this is that Mabry adores horses. She is an amazing equestrian. She's just flourished being on the horse, and she just loves it. It's something she really looks forward to. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll join the board. This was in 2012. Oh, sure, I'll serve in that capacity. Fantastic. Fast forward to now to where it is a full-time job for me because we expanded. And we knew that there's a lot of places that do horse therapy really well. And we applaud them. We cheer them on. Go, go, go. But where the state of Texas, it's all over the nation, but especially the state of Texas, where we struggle is care for those over the age of 21.
So because you're saying they can go to school till they're 21.
Yes, Mabry will go
Texas,
to Prosper ISD until she's 21. And then after that, then what?
Yeah.
And so that's what, many special needs adults are in group homes. Some are in state schools. Some are living at home. But it's hard.
Yeah.
And especially those who need schedules and structure and something to do. Where do you go?
Yeah.
And so many of these dayhabs around, not all of them, a lot of them, though, are just like...
You would not send...
I wouldn't put my dog there.
Yeah.
And there's more out there for these people. They're amazing. And so that's why we started the Purpose program. And at Purpose, we teach art and we teach woodworking and we teach gardening and cooking and job skills and life skills. And, to where hopefully they can gain knowledge. They're working at Blue Sky and the money that we make through the Purpose program goes back to fund the Purpose program so that we can keep it really reasonable for these families. But maybe they will gain the knowledge to go out and get a job. That would be our ultimate goal, is to fly.
Yeah.
And so many of them can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's my heart. That's what we do. And it's exhausting, but it is, I knew that I needed, Mabry's 16. We have 5 years to figure this out of what we're going to do when she doesn't have school anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was, yep, it's my ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That doesn't mean I don't love every single person I get to work with every day.
And so many other people are benefiting from your ulterior motive.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want to pause real quick and tell you about a show sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Orate. Orate makes the jewelry you've always wanted but could never find, with prices ranging from classic to statement to completely original. They offer beautiful designs, amazing quality, and ethically sourced pieces that you can wear every day, all at affordable prices. Orate uses real gold, which means you can wear it and never have to take it off. Wear it while you shower, work out, sleep, cook, anything. It's jewelry for life. And all Orate pieces come with a lifetime warranty because they know it lasts. Orate sells direct to you without the middleman markup, so they can afford the same quality as traditional Fifth Avenue brands, but at a fraction of the cost. Their jewelry is ethically made in New York City, and for every piece sold, a child in need receives a book to further their education. I personally received a new pair of gold earrings from them, and I absolutely love them. I love that I know I can wear them no matter what. I love that they are ethically made. I love that it's a women-run business, that they give back and they make excellent product. Orate checks off all the boxes for me. Everything you see is made from 100% recycled gold, sustainably made. They search the globe to source pearls and precious gems from family-run establishments supporting local communities. I also received their Infinity ear cuff. And guys, I think it makes me feel a little edgy. I love it so much. For 15% off your first Orate purchase, go to oratenewyork.com/Jamie Ivy and use the promo code Jamie Ivy. That's Orate, AURATE, NewYork.com/Jamie Ivy. The promo code Jamie Ivy for 15% off your first Orate purchase. Well, I love too that you guys are creating the stuff that you guys make and build and create. It is not like crappy stuff.
No,
you're creating great things that people can purchase and buy and would be happy to put in their homes.
Yeah, I tell my clients all the time, my friends, they're not but I tell them all the time, like, look, we don't want a pity buy.
Yeah.
We don't want a handout. Like, we're doing business and we're business people. And I'm sorry, that batch of soap, it doesn't look good. We can't sell it. And let's see why it doesn't look good. What did we do wrong?
Yeah.
And so it's teaching them, like, we can't have handouts our whole life.
I love it.
We hand up,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for giving us a chance to get our products in your store. Absolutely. But no, you're not going to just sell them for us for free.
Yeah.
You're going to take a cut because that's what people do.
Yep.
So it's teaching them that.
How can people see what you make? Instagram?
So yes, Instagram is good. We're Blue Sky Texas Therapeutic, and Facebook. Our audience is more of a Facebook kind of group. We're Blue Sky Therapeutic there. We are working really, really hard to get our site online to where we can start shipping. We do it here and there when we have a big stock of orders. But we do everything from goat milk soap to soy candles to barnwood cheese boards. It's beautiful homemade goods that people really would put in their house and not be like, hey, look, I supported a special needs kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's quality work.
It's quality work.
Love it.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions for you, just for people who are listening who are not parents or grandparents or aunties or uncles or whatever to someone with special needs. What do you want people to know about parenting a child with special needs?
That they grow up. I think that's the main thing. There's so many organizations that do great work for children, but when they're not cute anymore, when they're not easy to handle, when they're not on the cover of a Special Olympics brochure, that they're still here and they still matter and they still deserve the very best. Just like you would want it for everybody, and that we want the best for our kids too, as they grow into adulthood, that they're here, they're not going anywhere. John and I were just talking before we left to come here that April 2nd was World Autism Day. And I saw this statistic that in 1979, 1 in 10,000 had autism. In 2019, 40 years later, 1 in 59.
Dang.
Where are these people going?
Yeah.
There's not housing for these people. So they're either staying at home with their families or they're ending up in state-run facilities, which again...
You're not going to put your cute dog there.
Nope. And so what do we do? What do we do? So I think that people that don't have a special needs child, kid, friend, family, whatever, find an organization that the money goes directly to helping families.
Yeah.
I know Autism Speaks and, Special Olympics. They do great things. We love it. But really, really find a place that where the money's going. It doesn't have to be Blue Sky. It doesn't have to be,
but you'll take their money.
Oh, we'll take your money.
It's almost like after the earthquake in Haiti, and we're like, hey, Red Cross is amazing, but you know what's going to help the most?
Yes.
If you can give to Real Hope for Haiti or Heartline or whatever these organizations that we know and trust that are on the ground doing the work.
For example, this is just an example. 2 weeks ago, we have a single mom at Blue Sky that has twins. They're 18. They both have autism. And with autism comes behaviors. And these are grown men.
Yeah.
And they have destroyed her house. And she called me and she said, Amy, my landlord's coming. I'm so afraid that we're going to get evicted. And then where do we go? And if they were evicted from their house, it would be totally detrimental for these boys. The change of routine, the change of location, all of that. So I said, okay, we got this. So we got a team together. Blue Sky paid for it. And we got people over there to fix their house.
Wow.
We repaired it. That's hands and feet.
Yeah.
You know,
that's kind of the unknown and unseen challenges.
You don't think about it.
Yeah.
And yes, we want to diagnose. I mean, yes, we want to cure. Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But while we're waiting on that, what's happening?
Yeah.
How are these people being helped?
I'm going to ask you a few more questions before we go. Number one that just popped into my head, because I know that this has been an issue that you and John have had to walk through. Mm-hmm. A lot of my listeners who are listening are church people. They go to church. Mm-hmm. What can churches do to better minister and help and walk alongside parents in the midst of parenting kids with special needs?
Yeah, and a lot of churches do have special needs ministries, which is fantastic, and it's always an option. But to know that it's not going to work for everybody. Like, we have a fantastic special needs ministry at our church.
And it doesn't work for Mabry.
It doesn't work for Mabry.
Yeah.
And just to know that that's okay.
Yeah.
What we love about our church is, yes, Mabry goes to church with us. She sits on the front row with us, you know. But to know if she has a meltdown, just keep going. You know, we're doing our best. Like, don't stop down. And everybody knows that she will do that. Mm-hmm. So knowing that we're home, but welcoming families with special needs, coming to them and saying, what can we do to help?
Yeah.
Because there's not a cookie cutter answer to that. Mm-hmm. It's different for every single family.
I love that, just being willing to say, hey, do you need a buddy? Do you need to not have a buddy? Do you need this?
Yeah.
How can we serve your individual family?
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
Because it's individual.
Yeah.
Every single person's different.
Yeah.
And yes, you can set up a great room, which we have at our church. It's just not going to work for Mabry right now. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean it's not going to work a year from now, which we really hope it does.
Yeah.
But just knowing that because we don't fit in your cookie cutter doesn't mean we don't applaud what you're trying to do. We do, absolutely, and we appreciate it. But that it's just different. You know, it's just different for every single person.
And that's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love what you're doing. And you actually have an event in October.
Yes.
That's in Dallas, in North Dallas area.
Dallas.
So if anyone is available to come, it's October
5th. It's our 6th annual Horses and Hope.
And I'm coming.
Jamie's coming.
I'm coming.
She's gonna say a few words.
Yeah. But it would be just a fun thing to come and see what you're doing and be a part.
It's fun, live music. Our writers, we call them writers or clients or friends.
Yeah.
They'll all be there. They just think they're the stars of the show, which they are.
They are.
Yeah. They rock it.
We're all there to see them is what they think, and it's true.
Hysterical. Yeah.
Okay. So I thank you.
Are we done?
I know. It's already been 30 minutes.
Holy moly. Okay.
Thank you. And I can't believe. Okay. So we've been friends literally 25 years. Mm-hmm. 25?
92.
That's so crazy.
So 92. What are we? Yeah.
Yeah.
27 years. Uh-huh.
The longest.
Is it 27?
Beside my immediate family. My parents and my brother. I've known you the longest in my entire life.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I was your maid of honor. You were my maid of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. We used to see each other all the time. So
my kids think your kids are their cousins.
And that's okay.
We'll tell them.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Know.
But I just want to say this to you. Thanks for being a great friend to me.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
I did, when I was writing my outline for this book, there is a part that I want to talk about when life just doesn't go the way you think. And you rise to the top of my mind because I've got to walk through this whole thing with you. I've heard about the awful where's the easy button days, and I've heard about the amazing look what's happening in the purpose room days.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed the most is that you haven't ever just you and John, but I'll speak to you, you haven't ever just laid down and said I'm done.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you haven't wanted to. And it doesn't mean there haven't been days where it's felt like that. But I just think it's so important for people to see that sometimes God's plan for our life, it looks different, it feels different, but it is still his plan.
It's his plan. Absolutely.
And so what a joy that when he was making Mabry, said, I'm choosing Amy and John to be her parents because they will be the best for her.
And who knows what he was thinking.
Right?
But no, he totally knows. But yes.
Yeah.
And we want, what John and I hope is to be able to bring awareness to other families that are kind of walking through the same things in ways you can support them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, Amy, thank you.
Thank you.
I told you guys that you were going to love her. I love and adore my friend Amy so much, and I love all that she's doing to create opportunities for her daughter Mabry and all the others that are part of the organization she's running. One thing I want to tell you is that my friend Amy and her husband John just released a new podcast called the Totally Worth It Podcast. Here's how they describe it. We believe that a person's story is the most powerful gift that we can share with others. I agree too, you guys. You've seen it, you've felt it, you've been through it, and you've been called to do something with it. This is the Totally Worth It Podcast, where we share the journey of others to learn from them, laugh with them, and love on them. We're not telling you it's going to be easy. We're telling you it's going to be totally worth it. Love it. Go check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, you can find them there. So proud of them. Friends, thank you for listening to this special edition of the Happy Hour, Your Last Decade. Our hope with all of these shows that we bring you about your last decade is that you can reflect back on where you have been. Whether you were 23 years old, 65, or 12 10 years ago, we hope you can look back and see what God has done in your life and where he has brought you. How you've persevered. How have you screwed up? What would you do differently? And what are you proud of? Also, looking back causes me to look forward. Today's show was edited by Chris with Podshaper and organized by Lindsay Sweeney. The music is developed for the show by Matt Graham, and show notes are written by Aki Sluckers. We'd love it if you enjoyed the show if you'd share it with your friends. Word of mouth is the #1 way people find out about our podcast, and we thank you for that.